Most people think buying decor is about filling space. But that's not what's really happening. When someone chooses a specific object for their home, especially something symbolic, they're making a statement. Not just about style, but about identity, beliefs, and how they see the world around them. Walk into any home and look closely at the objects displayed. Photos, flags, statues, artwork. None of these are random. Each one carries meaning. Each one reflects something deeper about the person who placed it there, even if they don't consciously think about it. Patriotic decor is one of the clearest examples of this. It's not just decoration, it's communication. It tells visitors what you value, what you stand for, and in many cases, how you interpret the current state of your country and its future direction. For many people, this kind of decor isn't about aesthetics at all. It's about connection. Connection to a country, to a set of ideals, and to a larger group of people who share the same perspective and emotional attachment. But here's where it gets interesting. Not all patriotic items carry the same weight. Some feel generic, others feel powerful. And that difference often comes down to symbolism, storytelling, and the emotional response the object creates when someone sees it. Think about symbols like the eagle. It's not just a bird. In American culture, it represents strength, freedom, and authority. That meaning has been built over generations, reinforced through history, media, and national identity. So when someone places an eagle figure in their home, they're not just adding decor. They're reinforcing a message about resilience, independence, and pride in those ideals. Now combine that with political identity. This is where things become even more layered. Because political beliefs are not just opinions. For many people, they are deeply tied to personal values and worldview. When decor reflects both national symbols and political alignment, it becomes something more than decoration. It becomes a personal statement, something that represents both belief and belonging at the same time. And that sense of belonging is important. People naturally look for ways to connect with others who think similarly. Even subtle signals inside a home can create that connection without a single word being spoken. This is why symbolic objects often feel more meaningful than practical ones. A lamp provides light. A chair provides comfort. But a symbolic object provides identity. And that's something people are increasingly looking for, especially in times when people feel uncertain about the world around them. When things feel unstable, people tend to hold tighter to symbols that represent stability, strength, and clarity. That's where patriotic collectibles start to stand out. They offer something beyond function. They offer reassurance, a sense that certain values still exist and can be represented physically in everyday life. But not every item achieves that. Some feel mass-produced. Others feel disconnected from real meaning, and people can usually sense that difference immediately, even if they can't explain why. The items that stand out tend to have a strong visual presence, clear symbolism, and a connection to something people already believe in. That combination creates emotional impact. And emotional impact is what drives most decisions. Even when people think they're being logical, the stronger the emotional connection, the more meaningful the object becomes. That's also why some people are willing to spend more on certain pieces. It's not about the material, it's about what the item represents and how it makes them feel every time they see it. Another factor is storytelling. When an object feels like it has a story behind it, it becomes more than just a product. It becomes something people can relate to and even share with others. This is especially true for items that combine national symbols with recognizable figures or movements. It adds another layer of meaning that resonates with a specific audience. And that audience is usually very clear about what they value. They're not looking for neutral decor. They're looking for something that reflects their perspective and reinforces it daily. This is why choosing the right piece matters. The wrong item feels empty. The right one feels intentional. It aligns with personal beliefs and becomes part of the environment in a meaningful way. Some people even treat these items as collectibles, not necessarily for resale value, but for personal significance. Over time, they build a collection that represents different aspects of their identity. And as that collection grows, so does the sense of connection. Each piece adds another layer to the overall message being communicated within the space. It's also worth noting that these choices are rarely impulsive. People often spend time thinking about what they want to display and why it matters to them. That process involves evaluating symbolism, design, and how well the item represents their beliefs. It's a more thoughtful decision than most people assume, and once the item is in place, it becomes part of daily life, a constant visual reminder of what the person values and how they see the world. This is what separates meaningful decor from generic decoration. One fills space, the other fills a psychological need for expression and identity. For many, that need has become stronger over time, especially as conversations around identity, politics, and values have become more visible and more personal. So instead of hiding those beliefs, people are choosing to express them more openly, even in their own homes, through the objects they choose to display. And that brings us back to the original question. What does patriotic decor really represent? It represents far more than design. It represents alignment, identity, and emotional connection. It's a way for people to create an environment that reflects who they are without needing to explain it constantly. The space speaks for itself. It also creates consistency between internal beliefs and external surroundings. That alignment can feel grounding, especially in uncertain times. And while not everyone chooses to express themselves this way, those who do tend to be very intentional about it. Every piece has a purpose. That's why understanding the meaning behind these items is important. It's not just about what they are, but what they represent to the person who owns them. If you're exploring this space, it helps to look beyond appearance. Focus on symbolism, emotional impact, and how well the item aligns with your perspective. Because at the end of the day, the goal isn't decoration, it's expression. It's about creating a space that feels authentic to you. And when that happens, even a single object can change the entire atmosphere of a room, not visually, but emotionally. That's the real power of symbolic decor. It operates on a deeper level, shaping how a space feels rather than just how it looks. If you want to see an example of how this works in practice, there's a detailed breakdown linked in the description that explores one of these symbolic pieces and what it represents. Take a look at the official page in the description to understand how these elements come together and decide if it aligns with what you want to express in your own space. And if this kind of analysis helps you think more clearly, consider subscribing for more.